So do you ever wonder about some of the books you were assigned in middle school? For myself, that would have been in the mid-1970s. And one that I can remember in particular is The Light in the Forest by Conrad Richter. The unforgettable story of a white boy raised by Indians, torn between the claims of blood and loyalty. It was published in 1953. Our story opens in 1764. A 15-year-old boy has been returned to the colonies from having been raised by an indigenous tribe. Apparently, he had been stolen from his family when he was approximately 4 years old, and now he's 15. But he doesn't want to go back. He wants to stay with his indigenous family. But this is a peace treaty, and it has to be followed. So we have a comparison of cultures and some violence that's involved in this story. And it also just tugs at your heartstrings. Walt Disney Productions even made a film of it in 1958 with Fess Parker, Joanne Drew, James MacArthur, and Wendell Corey. But does it hold up today? That's a good question. I'm actually not prepared to reread it, but I have my suspicions that it would be a little bit too much for our society today in terms of how it refers to Indigenous people. I think people would also wonder why it was assigned to a class of middle school students. In our society, we seem to have things which were appropriate at a certain time and now seem inappropriate today. I'm not saying for sure that this novel is that way, but I deeply suspect it is. What I've discovered over the last few years, perhaps even over a lifetime of reading science fiction, is that these issues can be used in science fiction in a way that doesn't come back to necessarily haunt you. Sometimes people have used robots in place of slavery. Other times we use aliens instead of a colonized nation. That brings me to the book I just finished recently, Remnant Population by Elizabeth Moon. This is from, 1996, and Ursula K. Le Guin says of the protagonist, Ophelia, tough, kind, wise, and unwise, fond of food, tired of foolish people, is one of the most probable heroines science fiction has ever known. And as the back of the book says, it was a finalist for the Hugo Award. For 40 years, Colony 3245.12 has been Ophelia's home. On this planet far away in space and time from the world of her youth, she has lived and loved, weathered the death of her husband, raised her one surviving child, lovingly tended her garden, and grown placidly old. And it is here that she fully expects to finish out her days until the shifting corporate fortunes of the Sims Bancorp Company dictate that Colony 3245.12 is to be disbanded, its residents shipped off, deep in cryosleep, to somewhere new and strange and not of their choosing. But while her fellow colonists grudgingly anticipate a difficult readjustment on some distant world, Ophelia savors the promise of a golden opportunity, not starting over in the hurly-burly of a new community, but closing out her life in blissful solitude in the place she has no intention of leaving, a population of one. With everything she needs to sustain her and her independent spirit to buoy her, Ophelia actually does start life over, for the first time on her own terms, free of demands, the judgments, and the petty tyrannies of others. But when a reconnaissance ship returns to her idyllic domain and its crew is mysteriously slaughtered, Ophelia realizes she is not the sole inhabitant of her paradise after all. And when the inevitable time of first contact finally arrives, she will find her life changed yet again in ways she could never have imagined. Ophelia is the star of this book, a deep character study. Someone who's raised a family, who's buried her husband, and just wants to be on her own, to experience freedom. And she has the opportunity by accidentally not going on the colony ships that are leaving. We have some beautiful sections here about what it's like to be on your own, free of the demands of others, free of judgment, free of expectations. Just tending to your own garden, taking your time to enjoy a beautiful day, keeping the machines running in your small community. But as the back of the book said, there is a reconnaissance flight that comes to a different part of the planet, and she hears that they have been slaughtered. This is from a species that she hasn't seen on the planet in all her years there. And the species does come to see her. Now, I started this off with the light in the forest, and this is a situation here where we find this older lady embedded with aliens, that they take her in, and that she really becomes part of their culture. But what happens when humans come calling again? A team of humans eager to make first contact, not realizing that they really aren't the first contact. So this is a study of two vastly different cultures and one woman, a woman who thought she was free now, in fact, in community with these aliens. She is now the conduit, the middle person between the aliens and the humans. Lots to ponder here, and just a very amazing character in Ophelia. This is a book that I kind of lingered on. I didn't just go page turning through it. It's been a long time since I've read a novel by Elizabeth Moon, and I remember reading some SF military novels. This is quite different. I can see also why Ursula K. Le Guin, whose parents were anthropologists, would find this a fascinating book too. And you might too. This is a deep character study of a woman, an older woman, connecting with a new tribe, let's say, learning about them and growing to be part of them, and then having to face the reality of her own people returning. What is first contact? And what's our responsibilities? This was a fun read. I would give it 8 out of 10. Well worth your time. Have you read Remnant Population? Let me know what you think. And have you thought about some of the books perhaps you read when you were in school, and have they aged well? Are there equivalents in science fiction which may be better? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, keep reading.